Time to lift the game in the Miler Club. We've got these 1,000 milers all over the place now. Joburg to Blouberg, Forgotten Highways, Parys-Le Cup, Western Cape 1,000 miler, that beautiful loop of the Western Cape. But we thought it's time to up the game a little bit, go longer. And to this effect, the first 1.5 miler route, or 1,500 miles plus. And to this effect, we've plotted the Parys-Le Cup Namibian Detour, 2,686 kilometers worth of it, from Parys to Blouberg in Cape Town via Southern Namibia, 18,823 meters of vertical ascent. So not that hilly, a little bit flattish, especially in the first half of the route. It starts at Parys, south of Johannesburg, in that Free State town on the Vaal, and heads off down the Diamond Dash route, 486 kilometers worth of it, to the famous town of Kimberley, famous for its diamond rush, famous for its big man-dug hole, biggest in the world, they say, and probably less famous, but also interestingly known for being the first town in the Southern Hemisphere to get streetlights. Yep, a little interesting bit of trivia. On from there to Douglas, the town next to the confluence of the two major rivers of South Africa, the Vaal and the Orange, and then on to a famous little abandoned railway siding, famous for in Afrikaans, called Parys-Le. Yes, the Afrikaans language version of Timbuktu, whereas in English we'll say from here to Timbuktu. In Afrikaans, their version of Timbuktu is Parys-Le. We'll go past there, snap a few photos. That's one of the highlights for me. And then on up the Orange River north to Upington. Upington, a well-known town for table grape farming, bit of winemaking, and more recently for solar farming. A lot of solar potential there. That's probably one of the reasons why we're riding there. There's little chance of rain and floods in that part of the world. The sun shines most of the day and most of the year. We'll head on past Ograbis, that famous tourist attraction waterfall on the Orange River. And then from there to Onsiepkans, where we'll go over the border into southern Namibia, past Karasburg, past Grunau. And then the highlight to me of the whole route, down past the famous Fish River Canyon, that massive canyon, South Africa's or Southern Africa's version of the Grand Canyon. Get a little peek, to take a little detour off the route to get a little peek, not far from the route. And then from there, downwards back to the Orange River to Ausinker farming operations, to Fjulsdrift, 24-hour border post. And then the next highlight of the trip into the Richtersveld, that mountainous desert region, which borders on, and we'll go through part of it, part of Southern Africa's famous desert, the oldest desert in the world, it's believed, the Namib Desert. We just touch that southern part of the Namib Desert as we go through the Richtersveld, or parts of the Richtersveld. Up the escarpment to Springbok. Springbok will be the first major resupply town since Upington, and then a rather hilly ride on top of the escarpments to Calvinia, and then through the beautiful, touristy, well-known Cederberg, right through the center, past those highlights of the famous attractions of the Cederberg, the Wolfberg Cracks, the Maltese Cross, down that central Cederberg road, down Gedo Pass to Ceres, from Ceres down another pass, Mitchell's Pass, to Wolseley, past Wolseley, down Nieuwekloof Pass, and then you're almost at sea level, and then meander through Malmesbury, Kalbaskraal to the end point at Blouberg, and Blouberg, another highlight, beautiful view across the bay, especially on a sunny day, of that famous Table Mountain, the flat mountain. There's a nice photo frame there. That seems to be the standard ending for a lot of our routes these days. Take a photo in the photo frame with Table Mountain in the background to finish off what promises to be a fantastic ride, a drier ride perhaps, for the most part, hopefully, than many of the routes to the south, hopefully free of any form of flooding and detours that's plagued some of our riders on our southern routes in recent times. Do remember though, it's more remote. The route, the distances between resupply points in some of the Northern Cape parts can be significantly longer, so we'll have to be more prepared than on the normal 1,000 milers from Joburg to Blouberg, for instance, or the Western Cape. And final word of warning, remember the passport. Don't only remember the passport, remember to check that the passport hasn't expired, because that has been a showstopper for many a rider crossing borders over the years, and it can be a showstopper for you too.